Picture Tetris raiding a public library after hours, stuffing its pockets with vowels, and sprinting toward the nearest Super Nintendo. That, in a nutshell, is Wordtris. Falling block fundamentals fused to a spelling bee that never remembered to take its Ritalin. Bizarre or classic? Both. Classic in its well-shaped DNA, bizarre in the way it forces you to pray for a vowel like a gambler begging the slot machine for triple sevens. Underrated? Absolutely. We already know you won't find it on mainstream top 25 SNES games, clickbait lists. Don't play coy. Overhyped? Only if you grew up in a household where Spectrum HoloByte posters replaced teen beat pinups. Fundamental to the 16-bit scene? Not quite. Yet try naming another cartridge that crams bombs, acid beakers, and a future head of state into a 4-megabit ROM. Calling it trivial is like saying a Rubik's Cube is just a colorful paperweight. Technically true, spiritually bankrupt. Historical context. The early 90s were a buffet of puzzle derivatives. Columns had convinced Sega owners that stacking gems counted as culture. Dr. Mario weaponized vitamins long before influencers sold supplements on Instagram. And Alexei Pajitnov's Tetris still reigned as the genre's reigning monarch. Spectrum HoloByte, flush from its lucrative PC licensing deal, itched to mutate the formula once more. Enter Wordtris, conceived by Sergei Utkin, Vyacheslav Tsoy, and Armin Sarkisian. Yes, the same Sarkisian who would later become president of Armenia. The DOS original landed in 1991, boasting clackety keyboard controls and a two-tone soundtrack that sounded like Muzak performed inside an IBM tower. Console ambitions arrived a year later. Real-Time Associates, already dabbling in ports and Disney one-offs, handled the Super NES version, with composer Paul Mogg rebuilding the music in David Warhol's sound engine so the SPC 700 could flex shimmering marimbas instead of PC squeaks. Spectrum HoloByte's bright red logo, half Flight Sim prestige, half Silicon Valley optimism, splashed across the box art. November 1992 placement meant shelf competition with Street Fighter II Turbo, Super Star Wars, and Mario Kart. Translation: Wordtris debuted the same month gamers learned you could Mode 7 drift a plumber through Rainbow Road. Tough crowd. My first encounter came courtesy of XP Arcade's Play Before You Pay SNES kiosk. Sandwiched between a Final Fight cab and a half-functional claw machine, the station offered 5-minute demos on rotation. A philosophy major clerk pitched it to 12-year-old me as Tetris for SAT nerds. Sold. 2 all-nighters and an overdue rental later. I was the smug kid slipping QI and ZA into Classroom Hangman, swearing it was for practice. The cartridge became my gateway drug into etymology. Who needs recess when you can mine trip-letter bonuses? From a market standpoint, Wordtris occupied an awkward space. Puzzle clones thrived on reflex loops. Educational software thrived on parent guilt. Wordtris tried to please both camps. Retailers filed it in the strategy section next to SimCity, while Nintendo's own buyer's guide gave the port a polite paragraph that praised its mental challenge, but shrugged at its plain visuals. With no plush mascots, no Saturday morning cartoon, and marketing muscle dwarfed by Capcom's or Konami's, it slipped beneath the mainstream radar. Yet for families sick of joystick pugilism, it whispered, learn spelling, but make it adrenaline. And then there's the geopolitical trivia. Imagine telling your social studies teacher the president of Armenia co-created the game currently teaching you to spell Y-A-K. Armin Sarkisian's later political ascent earned Wordtris a retroactive oddball honor, the only SNES cart with a designer who took an oath of office. You can't concoct better pub quiz ammo. Mechanics beneath its librarian exterior, Wordtris is a mechanical chimera with one absurd focal point, the wild card, block. Almost every system quirk pivots around that single trickster, so keep it in mind as the running gag. Core loop. The playfield looks like Tetris's classic 10x18. Well, but here each falling tile holds a single letter. Match 3 or more letters in a straight line, horizontally or vertically, and poof, the word scores and vanishes. Shared letters can chain words, allowing that central E in T to double dip into C if you're crafty. Minimum word length is 3, but the scoring matrix rewards longer formations exponentially. 5-letter clears feel like discovering a game genie in grandma's attic. Wild card block. Every so often the game drops a tile, a literal question mark. While it falls, shoulder buttons cycle through the alphabet. Commit too late and RNG nails you with an unwanted X. Used properly, the wildcard is both savior and sin. Plug the U after a stray Q and the crowd, okay, your dog, cheers. Mistime it and you end up spelling QXQ, which is worth approximately 0 points and a bruise on your pride. The wildcard is Wordtris's Chaos Agent. It's Koopa Shell on Rainbow Road. The absurd thread will tug until it unravels. Bombs, dynamite, and acid Spectrum HoloByte apparently worried a strict spelling test might scare players, so they armed the board with explosives. Cherry bombs remove a single adjacent tile, perfect for detonating that unwanted J lodged in your vowel stack. Dynamite explodes in a cross, nuking one horizontal and vertical line. Acid beakers, a console exclusive, dissolve an entire column. Drop one dead center and watch a waterfall of consonants cascade like pixelated soda. The tactile dopamine of a well-timed acid pour compares favorably to pulling off a dragon punch. Concise, brutal, satisfying. Magic word system. Perched at the top of the HUD is an 8-letter magic word, e.g. balloons. Complete it anywhere on the board, and Wordtris wipes the entire well, showers points, and advances to the next level. It's a board-wide Control-Alt-Delete, useful for emergencies and point farmers alike. Later stages mix longer magic words with higher gravity, turning the feature into a life-or-death objective rather than an optional flex. Level cadence. The SNES port tracks progress alphabetically. Level A is slow enough for dictionary perusal. Level J borders on bullet hell for lexicographers. Gravity increases about 15% per tier, small in print but monstrous in practice. By level G, the well starts feeling like Tetris's kill screen if the pieces had stage fright and refused to rotate. Controls and feel D-pad shifts letters left or right. Down soft drops. A rotates the lightweight tile, more aesthetic than functional but handy for lining up corners. B instantly locks placement. That early lock button is the guardian angel of advanced play. Misjudged timing and the wildcard's roulette wheel chooses Z, landing smack atop your only vowel. Lock fast, spare yourself. The feedback loop is accentuated by Paul Mogg's score, calypso-baked marimbas, syncopated snares, even a cheeky slap bass that surfaces whenever you clear a 5-letter chain. It's like Donkey Kong Country swagger before David Wise took over the jungle. Multiplayer 2-player head-to-head divides the screen into twin wells and unleashes a playground arms race to complete magic words first. Fast spellers can indirectly sabotage by tossing their cleared letters onto the opponent's side, a la Puyo Puyo garbage blobs. 4-player mode is round-robin controller swap, no multi-tap support, so the couch dynamic oscillates between spelling contest and hot seat humiliation, especially when someone misspells rhythm under pressure. Secret oddities. While the DOS original boasted key combo sound tests, the SNES port hides no documented cheat menus. Whatever rumors you've heard about down, down, left, A, B remain Bigfoot stories. The lone confirmed oddity is graphical. Soft resetting exactly 3 frames after a magic word board clear sometimes tints the falling letters blue instead of gray. A harmless palette quirk affectionately dubbed Blue Monday by speedrunners. Pure cosmetics, zero exploit, quirky nonetheless. Strategy flavor newcomers quickly learn that common plurals, dogs, are safer than verbose flexes, dogmatic, because the latter hogs horizontal real estate the well can't always spare. Veterans chase high-value consonant combos, quiz, jazz, fuzz. Nailing a Q without U chain at level H elicits the same pride as landing a perfect parry in Street Fighter III. Meanwhile, bomb discipline becomes a meta game. Hoard them for panic states or unleash early to farm points. There's an AP calculus question hidden in every falling cherry: legacy and influence. Despite modest sales, Wordtris planted seeds in genres just waking up to stealth education. DOS classrooms embraced it as a rainy day alternative to Oregon Trail, proof that vocabulary drills could masquerade as entertainment. Indie puzzlers decades later, Spell Tower, Wordle variants, LetterQuest, owed silent debts to its pressure cooker spelling. Pop culture footnotes include a 1994 Games Magazine tournament where finalists framed wildcards as linguistic grenades. The winning score printed in the article remains unbeaten by modern emulators. Music aficionados resurrected Paul Mogg's soundtrack on VGMPF forums, praising sample layering that predated Rare's famous DKC compression tricks. Fan remixes float on YouTube, slapping lo-fi beats under the Level C theme, and every election cycle, a trivia tweet resurfaces. Fun fact, Armen Sarkisian, ex-president of Armenia, co-created Wordtris, earning thousands of retweets from users stunned a head of state once coded vowel collisions. Collector circles treat the SNES cart as mid-tier treasure. Loose cartridges hover around $40. Complete in-box sets flirt with triple digits, climbing sharply when manuals include the original Spectrum HoloByte registration card, which cheekily asked buyers to list their favorite word game. Speedrunning remains niche but spirited. Runners optimize wildcard cycling and bomb drop cadence, with sub-11 minute A through J clears currently the gold standard. GDQ's awful block once featured the DOS version not to mock, but to bask in its earnest weirdness. Viewers chanted magic words in unison, a collective karaoke of lexicography. Why no sequel? Rights fragmentation. The Tetris company tightened licensing after the mid-90s, and Spectrum HoloByte pivoted toward flight sims, leaving real-time associates to chase Saturn mascots. The stars never realigned, and wildcard chaos remained frozen in this single cartridge. Even so, fan hacks have swapped Latin letters for katakana or emoji, proving that human creativity, like a wildcard, refuses to stay within the alphabet. Closing paragraph plus score Wordtris is the eccentric uncle of the SNES library. Blazer covered in Scrabble tiles, pockets jingling with cherry bomb erasers, regaling anyone who'll listen about the time he helped invent a game with a future president. Its visuals are plain, its learning curve occasionally unforgiving, and its marketing footprint barely a toe print. Yet in a landscape dominated by polygon braggadocio and Twitch combo peacocking, it dares to make lateral thinking the ultimate power-up. There's raw joy in slotting a rogue Q atop your vowel cliff, watching the screen flash as quiz detonates, and hearing a marimba riff reward your cerebral hustle. Toss in bombs that vaporize consonant traffic jams, and you've got a puzzler that still feels fresh 3 console generations later. Final tally, 7.2 divided by 10. Not a Hall of Famer, but a delightful lexical tightrope walk that rewards anyone willing to trade button mashing for wordsmithing. Fire it up, embrace the wildcard chaos, and remember, sometimes the quickest way to clear a board is a 3-letter miracle nobody saw coming.